Another film I watched this weekend was 1962's Panic in Year Zero, directed by and starring Ray Milland. It's something of a straggler to the whole nuclear anxiety run of movies from the 1950s, and this one is unusually lacking in any giant monsters. The family sets out for a fishing holiday early one morning, and as they're driving up through the mountains, news comes over the radio that there's been a nuclear attack on Los Angeles, and they discover that, in fact, the entire country has been undergoing a nuclear attack. So they quickly stop off at hardware stores and grocery stores to stock up on supplies before hightailing it up into the mountains, whilst getting involved with various figures along the way. It has the makings of a great thriller. As I was watching it, I could imagine a modern day adaptation with dirty bombs being detonated in cities across America and Paul Giamatti taking his family up into the wilderness where he's determined to protect them no matter what the cost. Um, but here it's much more soft soaked. The idea that America is undergoing a nuclear Armageddon is really quite mild. It is almost comically naive in predicting the impact of nuclear bombs going off all over the country, um, and particularly the damage to infrastructure because everyone's just driving around and money still changes hands. But there is a sense of the whole father knows best attitude to it, where Milland's character is generally shown to always be in the right no matter what he does, whether it's starting to steal things at gunpoint or later kill the men who raped his daughter. A scene which is actually, I was surprised was depicted as sensitively and as cautiously as it was. I felt that the assault scene was handled as well as it could given the time. But Milland then going off to murder the men, taking his son with him, I felt that should be a tipping point. This is the point of no return for this character, of leaving aside the trappings of civilization and in terms of pure survival, regardless of whether or not it's something that needs to be done or it works as more of a form of revenge. It felt like this isn't carrying the weight that it needs to. The film ends with the teenage son, played by Frankie Avalon, wounded and being taken to hospital as they get news over the radio that the war, whatever it was, has ended and that reconstruction is underway. They're then trying to take him to a hospital as a caption flashes up on the screen, "There must be no end, only a new beginning." And the credits run over scenes of them driving frantically towards the hospital, which we never see them reach. So it suggested that the son may in fact be dead by the end of the movie. It's a great idea for a film, and the execution, given it was Milland's directing debut, is pretty competent. It's clearly made on something of a low budget, but it works around that. There's careful use of stock footage. It uses inexpensive environments and small casts quite economically. And as a production in its own right, I think it works rather well. It's just that it has this horrible patrician naivety about what would happen under these circumstances. Yes, people would start fighting among each other and scrambling for survival. Absolutely, I can imagine that happening. But the galloping lack of scientific credibility and the strange, very paternalistic attitude towards Milland's character, where he's always shown to be in the right, regardless of what he does, sits rather awkwardly. It's definitely a film that would merit, I think, modern reinvention, but as it is, it's more a part of an overall trend rather than something worth singling out.